Yo, what's going on, guys? Another episode of Dom Sean Fishing, and today I'm talking about one of the best $100 bait casting reels.
Yeah, my name buzzing, ain't no way you could ignore it. I did not come this far so they could ignore me. I am not the one
that being the LEWS LFS Speed Spool. Now, I did a review on a LEWS rod not too long ago, the TP1 Speed Stick, and that was an amazing rod, and I really liked the response that I got out of it by the amount of views it got. So I figured I'd do another one. And I did like a first impressions review on this reel way back like a year ago when I got the reel originally right out of the box. And now that I've gotten a year of use out of this, I figured I'd go back and look at what I like about this reel and what I don't like. If you guys want to see my original review on this reel when I originally got it out of the box, the link will be down in the description. Now starting out, the one that I got is the 7:5 gear ratio reel. I really wanted this one more for like a frog fishing style or jig fishing, and both of those are nicer to use if you have a faster gear ratio, hence why I went with this one. I got the box right here, and this has all the stats on it. So it has 120 yards for 12-pound line. It has 31 inches per turn of the handle, which that's a lot of inches that you can bring in, which I'll get into later on when I talk about using it. And then it has a 10-pound max drag, 85mm bowed aluminum handle, and it weighs in at 6.9 ounces. Let's get into some facts about this reel. I got it, like I said, for frog fishing and for like jig fishing or flipping into heavier stuff. That's what I wanted it for, and that's what I used it for. I used it on my 7.3 heavy, and it worked amazing for all those. One thing I did notice right when I got this thing out of the box, and well, I didn't notice it right away, but once I went out and fished with it right away, is that the line guide was like not lined up right with the worm gear down here. So if you ever are getting a new bait caster and you realize that for some reason when you turn the handle, this isn't going back and forth right, all you need to do, it's really hard to use like a screwdriver like what you're supposed to use on there. So what I did was I just took my pliers and just kind of squeezed that little, because it's a knob up there, I squeezed it as tight as I could and then would twist it until it got tight enough, and it's worked just fine since then. But that is one thing about this that I was kind of disappointed in at first and really like made me not like this reel right away. Another thing about this reel is the big paddles. That is something that LEWS is known for, and I really liked with frog fishing, because with frog fishing a lot of times I'd be popping it and not have my hand on the actual handle itself, and then a fish would blow up and I'd have to reel it real quick, and I was able to grab these without much of a challenge of finding them. The drag system in here held up just fine for using it in like heavy lily pads and stuff like that. I think I had 65-pound braid on here, and I never broke off my line, so the drag was never too tight, but I never like felt my drag was holding me back from using all the strength in my line either. Another thing about this reel that I really liked that I noticed was inside the, well, that was built into the Abu Garcia Silvermax Gen 3 that I wanted incorporated in more reels is this part right here where it's open, where the line is just openly shown to the rod. One thing I found that to do was reduce the weight, and also when I was fishing in heavy gunk with this thing, I'd find that a lot of times that gunk would be flinging around as I'm reeling this in, and it would fling through this hole, and then it would get on my rod, and right where that handle is, where this part meets the rod, would get really dirty. And I thought it was a little bit easier, honestly, to clean than if it was like just getting flung onto this part right here, and then you had to take the whole spool off. To clean it, all you had to do was just unscrew the reel off the rod, take like a rag, a Q-tip. I would use a lot of times to just get inside that little crack, but do that and just wipe it off, and I'd get a lot of the gunk out. A couple other things about this reel that I really like is that the knobs are, nice. I don't like how this doesn't click. Like, I like this to be clicking, but it doesn't, so it is what it is. This does click, and this part right here is one of my favorite parts, and what I feel makes the LEWS reels really iconic is this over here. But this has a lot of different spots you can set this at, which casting things, it was really easy to fine tune right where I want it to be. And then if you don't know how to get into it and you're figuring that out, that right here is a little button you pull out, and when you pull that out, this part twists up and just comes right off. And then it's got the magnetic brakes in there, which I really like. Those are the kind of brakes that I prefer. Think it's, yeah, Albert Garcia Revo S has the other kind where it's like on here and you have to push out buttons. I really don't like that braking system because it's hard to fine tune it for what you want. So one thing about this reel that was really nice is that it was like really easy to maintain. It wasn't a reel that you had to always clean. Well, I always had to clean. I always had to go in and fix something or whatever. This could literally sit for all year long. There's times where I didn't use it for like a month. I'd go to pick it up that after it's been sitting on the deck of my boat for that past month. I cast one time with it and it works like it just did a month ago. Now, onto the big and most important question about this reel. Is it worth it for you to pay $100 for this one when you can pay $100 for a different reel? I think yes, and it's really personal preference. For me, I would like to get this one over a lot of others, not just because this reel is so much better, but it's an entry-level reel to such a good company like LEWS. I'm not sponsored by LEWS, nor do I really want to be, because that would be a lot of work, I feel like, with that big of a company. But one thing about LEWS that I really like is just they have so many entry-level reels for the beginner angler that if you are somebody that's looking to get into the $100 reel market, you can get so many different options from them. They have a $100 reel, and then if you have a little bit extra money to spend, an extra 10 bucks, they have a $110 reel. Then they have a $120, $130, and it just goes up from there. It's not like a company like Shimano where they have one $100 reel, and then just to get another reel you have to shell out a lot more money. Now, one feature about this reel that I really like and I wish more reels would incorporate is this right here. It's a very subtle feature. It's a little screw right here that you undo. When you undo that screw, it opens up this little plate right here. Inside this plate is where you can grease up your gears without having to take this whole side plate, well, not side plate, but this whole like housing of the gears off. That's a great feature, and I wish it would be incorporated in a lot more reels just because it's such a nice feature. It saves so much time. You can literally do it on the water if you want, if your gears aren't working the way you want them to. Now, I hope you guys are enjoying these reviews, and if you do enjoy watching them, make sure to let me know down in the comments so I know to make more of these. And if you want to see any more reviews on anything, just let me know down in the comments. Maybe go watch my fishing videos, and if there's anything in there that I use that you may be like, I wonder what he thinks about this, go check out my other review videos, and if they're not on there, make sure to let me know so I know what you guys want to see. But thanks for watching, guys. I'll see you next time. Peace.